Singapore has been a property hotspot for years. More recently, the number of million-dollar HDB resale flats spiked over 30 times in just 7 years. This year, million-dollar flats look set to hit new heights. In this episode, I want to find out who are buying these million-dollar flats and what this means for the public property market. Sarah Chong is a property agent who recently closed a million-dollar deal at City View in Boon Keng. Let's see what it is about this flat that costs $1 million. Located on the 35th floor, I realized that this 5-room flat was able to fetch $1.1 million, thanks largely to this.
So this is why they call it the City View. You have the river view, then Marina Bay Sands will be on your right. On National Day, you can see the fireworks right here.
So this is what they call the million-dollar view.
Yes.
I also noticed, Sarah, that quite a fair bit of space. The balcony
is very spacious.
Almost as big as the living room. Located in Boon Keng, City View was launched in 2008 under HDB's Design, Build and Sell Scheme, or DBSS. HDB suspended the scheme in 2011, so properties like this in City View are highly sought after, making up 1/3 of million-dollar flats sold. Was this your first million-dollar transaction?
Yes.
Okay. Were you surprised when it hit the price it did?
Initially, when the owner wanted 1.2, I was a bit worried, but I had no problem asking for whatever price he commanded. Buyers were ready to pay for the location and the unblocked view they see. Yeah, basically fell in love with it.
There has been a lot said about how 2019 we are going to see new highs in the million-dollar HDB flats.
And this year you will see 3,500 DBSS and 4,000 HDB reaching their minimum occupation period. So likely you would see more million-dollar flats because they are located in very mature estates like Queenstown, Bukit Merah and Ang Mo Kio.
In 2012, the very first million-dollar public flat was sold at Block 149 Mei Ling Street.
A resale flat in Queenstown has sold for a record $1 million.
Last year alone, a record 71 units were sold, making it a total of 156 flats which have crossed the million-dollar mark by 2018. Almost all were located in mature estates and close to the city centre with comprehensive amenities. As the saying in the property market goes, it's all about location, location, location. But Singapore also boasts an extensive transport network. So why do people still feel the need to live so close to the city centre? I'm meeting Susan Tan. She used to live in a condo in East Coast. Today I'm visiting her new home, a 5-room HDB flat at Holland Drive.
Well, welcome to my place.
Thank you.
This is actually the original condition, and I'm starting renovation in a few days' time. So, and I'm actually building an island right in the middle of my living room.
An island kitchen? Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
How much did you pay for this unit?
Okay, it's over $1 million.
For a lot of people out there, though, they will be thinking like, gosh,
Yes.
you know, that's way too much to pay for an HDB flat.
Yeah, but I think we see the value in this place.
What is the value?
I work in Orchard Road. It's easy. I drive to work. Driving from East Coast is a frustration for me every day. Jam at Eunos, jam at PIE, so moving here is perfect. There's 2 MRT stations, and then you have a bus interchange, easily accessible. Eventually, we decided to not drive.
You were rather specific that you wanted an apartment in this area. Why so?
It is a vibrant, distinctive part of the city and a unique lifestyle for all young and old, and also eateries, drinking holes, all kinds of cuisine. It really whet our appetite.
In other words, it's happening for you.
Absolutely. I mean, I may be old, but you know what? I'm a happening person, over there, I mean, the new development is
Susan
definitely
forked
gonna
out over $1 million for a 7-year-old 5-room HDB flat. The combination of these factors, vibrancy of the neighborhood, a desire for a central location, and more space motivated her decision. But is public housing worth all that money?
So let's say if you buy a $1 million HDB flat, do you think that you can actually sell for 1.2 million, 1.3 million next time?
This year, we're likely to see a record number of $1 million HDB flat transactions. Buyers are paying a premium for location, amenities, and space. But does it make financial sense to fork out so much for an HDB flat compared to a private property?
This is the Sungai Punggol, the reservoir, and then we also have supermarket over the other side.
Property consultant Lane Ka Yi moved into this condominium at Sengkang last December. I want to know the real financial differences between buying a $1 million HDB flat and a $1 million condominium. What is the difference in financial commitment between buying a $1 million HDB flat and a $1 million condo?
The main difference is the amount of loan that you can actually get from the bank to finance the property that you're going to buy. So let me show you how it works. Okay. So let's say if you buy a private property, okay, it will be based on TDSR, which is called Total Debt Servicing Ratio. The government say if you have $10,000 income, okay, they only allow you to use 60% of your income, which is $6,000, to finance all your debts. But let's say if you are buying a resale HDB, EC or a BTO, okay, it will be based on mortgage servicing ratio, MSR. So let's say if your income is $10,000, they only allow you to use 30% of your income, which is $3,000, to service your house. So that means the amount of loan that you can get if you buy a HDB is different. If you buy a condo, it's actually double.
So basically, if I buy a $1 million HDB flat, I'm going to have to come up with more cash upfront.
Yes.
Does that mean that people who buy $1 million HDB flats are cash rich?
I think so. It may be those en bloc owners that has $2 to $3 million on hand. So let's say if I show you this one, right, 38th floor, January 2019. This flat sold at 1.185, which is $941 per square foot. $941 is the EC price. And then he paid $85,000 cash over valuation. How many people has this type of money? Let's say if I buy a $1 million condo, I can use the $85,000 COV to pay for my 5% down payment for my condo.
So it sounds like you are definitely not for investing that kind of money in a $1 million HDB flat. Besides the cash outlay upon purchase, any other reasons one might pick a $1 million private property over a $1 million HDB flat?
So let's say if you buy a $1 million HDB flat, so what's your exit plan? Do you think that you can actually sell for 1.2 million, 1.3 million next time? Many people, when they buy things, they base on emotion to buy. They won't think of any other factors. But ultimately, you still need to sell, You know, whether you expire or, you know, when the flat goes old, then you still have to sell it. So, you know, it depends on how much loss that you're willing to accept.
Before 2012, no one imagined that HDB flats will breach the $1 million mark. So who knows? Do you see a future where HDB flats may go up to as high as 1.3, 1.4, even 1.5 million?
In 2012, there were transactions 1 million. So now in 2019, which is 7 years later, the price is also about 1 million. So what is the capital appreciation that we are looking at? You know, we can't tell. For my own condo, right, I already stay here for 3 years. So we already have a capital appreciation of about 180,000.
So what you're saying is that the capital appreciation is just too slow over this period of 7 years.
You are right.
$1 million flats require higher upfront cash payment and have lower expected returns. Buyers may be deterred, but it seems some sellers are still hopeful to cash in. On this property website, more than 140 flats are listed for $1 million and above. And on another website, 75. In total, that's more than 3 times the number of $1 million flats sold last year. Are sellers being realistic in their asking price? To find out, I'm heading to Jalan Membina in Bukit Merah, where I've been invited to join a viewing for a 5-room flat on the 8th floor. Philip, a freelance photographer, is the homeowner. He's lived in this flat for over 15 years. Patrick is his housing agent.
Okay, this is my place.
How big is this whole place?
The square feet is 1184. We are very strategically located just opposite the Tiong Bahru MRT.
So now I will bring you from the dining room to one of the bedroom.
Although it's very cluttered, but the room itself, we can accommodate easily a king size wardrobe and then study table.
Okay, this is a kitchen. There's another shower room here.
What's your asking price?
My owner is asking 1.19 mil.
How realistic is that, you think?
I noticed that Boon Tiong Apartments, which is just across the road from my place. My place at Block 19, Jalan Membina. I noticed that 5-room was selling at 1.2 million and 4-room was 1.05 million. So in my opinion, if they can get that price, over here I believe should be the same.
What is the lowest price that you will go?
If it's over $1 million, I'm still can consider. I can even hold off if I find the price is no good. So I have the holding power.
How much did you pay for this unit?
I paid about $350,000.
From a professional point of view, can you give a realistic assessment of what are his chances of getting his 1.2 million?
I would say a bit of luck is needed because there's a lot of condo en bloc going on and a lot of buyer they are flush with cash. We just have to wait it out and hopefully there will be one buyer that will like this location.
Do you think the seller is being opportunistic?
I would say yes, and why not, since he's the one that is he has a unit that is in a central location. I would not say everybody will get it, but I would say those that are asking for $1 million, out of 10 maybe 2 or 3 would get what they're asking for.
If he manages to sell his flat for $1.19 million, Philip says he may use the money to fund his travels. But how much of the money actually goes to the sellers? Ryan Ong is an editor with 99.co. He analyzes property trends for interested buyers and sellers. I want to find out just how much profit Philip would make. Ryan's agreed to crunch through the numbers with me.
So he's bought the flat at $350,000. Let's assume he sold it for $1 million after about, say, 15 years. Now, the immediate costs that come to mind, first of all, there is the buyer's stamp duty. He would have paid this when he bought the flat. This would come to about $5,200. He needs to look at the property taxes he's paid. He would have paid roughly 60.2K in property taxes. And then we need to work out the loan repayments that he's made. This will vary a lot based on whether you use an HDB loan or a bank loan and the interest rate and the loan tenure. But over 15 years, let's say that he would have paid $440K inclusive of 15 years of interest repayments. Then he's got to pay his agent 2% commission. It would be around 20K for $1 million sale. So he could make $495,000 before deducting other variables such as his renovation and furnishing costs, any variations in the loan interest rate.
So in essence, Philip stands to make about $500,000 from his $1 million sale. If there are more opportunistic sellers, will this drive up resale flat prices?
They will naturally try to push that price up, but buyers can also quite easily check the transaction histories of the units in the area. Yes, the unit sold for $1 million, but every other unit around it isn't selling for $1 million. So the buyers themselves are going to try and bargain you down.
Do you think I will ever see a day when, if I do not have $1 million, my HDB flat will be out of my reach?
I don't see a day when an HDB flat will be out of your reach. First of all, when it comes to $1 million, even though the number of $1 million flats are growing rapidly, we're still looking at 71 transactions out of something like 23,000. This is something like 0.3% of the overall market. So it's not really reflective of the general HDB market as a whole at this point. The numbers are still too small. But there may be a point in time when a desirable HDB flat, you may find that a little bit out of your reach.
What do you mean by desirable?
If your minimum standard for an HDB flat is a 5-room flat in a highly centralized location, in a mature neighborhood where you have an MRT station nearby and a shopping mall within walking distance, and you also want it on a high floor with a great view, then that may be out of your reach.
$1 million flats are still a rare breed. Sellers are likely to find willing buyers only if the flats check all the right boxes of perfect view, location, size, and age. So, if you want the best and no less, $1 million may just be the price you'll have to pay. Coming up, which electricity plan should I go for? I tell you how you can save on your electricity bill. It's the time of the month to pay your electricity bills. But lately, there's good news for consumers.
Last time my electricity bill was $80. Now I'm paying $54. So my saving is 30% every month.
Wow! That's because since April last year, Zhili made the switch from Singapore Power to an electricity retailer. Why did you make the switch in the first place?
Because the tariff price which SP Group are offering is at the price of 25.52 per kilowatt. So if I make the switch, and I will be paying 0.1695, so it will be much more cheaper. Secondly, I'm having a family of 4, so my usage is quite high. So if I use more, I will save more, definitely.
Since April last year, we can buy power from a variety of electricity retailers, 13 to be exact. Thank you. I am at an open electricity market roadshow at White Sands Mall, and the retailers are going all out to woo customers. Thank you. Almost all the retailers I spoke to guarantee a 20 to 30% cut from your current electricity bill. Some even come with a plethora of promotions, such as a one-time rebate of $30 to $40. These retailers buy electricity from the wholesale market, and due to an oversupply of electricity right now, they are able to provide cheaper rates. So there are sure savings for those who make the switch now. But to date, only 1 in 3 consumers has done so.
So has your family made the switch?
No, not yet. We discussed about it with my wife. We thought of will there be like a power failure and so on. So these are some of the worries.
Because if you is a private one, then if they go bankrupt, how? You can't do anything.
We heard about it, but we don't really go and find out. Yeah.
It's too many of these retailers, so we don't really know in details the retailers' plan, and we feel uneasy for that. Make me confused also.
With so many different price plans and promotions, it's understandably confusing for some. That's why Kang Hyung, an editor from financial blog Dollars and Cents, started writing posts to guide consumers on how they can pick the best electricity plans from the 13 retailers. Which electricity plan should I go for?
In order to help consumers, the Energy Market Authority, EMA, has actually specified 2 kinds of standard plans, the discount off tariff plan and the fixed price plan. So let me explain what the 2 plans are in detail. So this is the cost that Singaporeans are paying based on the tariff.
Tariff takes into account the cost of producing and delivering electricity to consumers. It is regulated by the Energy Market Authority to prevent volatility in electricity prices.
So a discount off tariff plan basically means whatever the prevailing tariff is, consumers will pay a discount off of that. And typically, the 13 retailers offer a discount off tariff of roughly 20%. In contrast, this is what a fixed price plan looks like. A fixed price plan basically means you pay a fixed rate throughout the duration of your contract, regardless of your tariff. So the tariff might be lower on some months, it might be higher on some months, but you pay a fixed rate.
So for the fixed price package, am I assured that there'll be savings at the end of the day?
Okay. Obviously, no one can tell the future, so tariffs might rise, tariffs might fall. But let's look at historical data itself. So for the past 1 year, the average tariff price has been about 25.26 cents per kilowatt hour. And we actually go back further. For the past 5 years, the average tariff has been about 23.23 cents per kilowatt hour. So if you look at the current fixed price plans, which hover between 17 to 18, 19 cents, you are actually already getting a significant discount of the tariffs, possibly in the future as well.
I'm just looking at these two price plans, and whichever I choose, right, what does it boil down to?
Okay, I guess for Singaporeans itself, if you do not want to worry and think so much, taking a discount off tariff plan is going to be the most straightforward. Yeah. You are definitely going to save money from switching away from SP Group itself. However, if you have an opinion about what tariffs might be in the future, for example, you believe they may rise and you actually want to have some certainty in your electrical pricing, then a fixed price plan is probably the way to go.
With the market conditions, is this a good time to lock in the cheapest deal for the longest period of time?
So retailers right now are fighting very hard for market share, and they are doing so at the expense of their profit margins. So consumers should actually take full advantage and lock in the discounts that they're actually getting right now for as long as they can.
Some folks may be worried that if they make the switch, will their electricity supply be disrupted?
These fears are quite unfounded because the SP Group is still responsible for the power delivery infrastructure of Singapore. EMA has actually assured us that in the event a retailer is no longer able to continue as an OEM retailer, they could actually find another retailer to actually take over the accounts and honor the rates that their customers are paying. If they are not able to do that, all accounts will actually be returned to SP Group, who will actually continue to take care of the customers without interruption.
So even if consumers buy electricity from retailers, the transmission and delivery of power is still managed by SP Group.
Switching to an electricity retailer is bang for the buck if you do it now. I've also learned that even after the switch, I'll still be getting my electricity through the SP Group. So I'm considering signing up for a 2-year contract with the lowest fixed price plan. How about you?